Hey guys, hello, hi, good morning or afternoon, wherever you guys are. Hello, let me just catch up on this. Yeah, like usually with Streamlabs and on YouTube, you just update the previous stream you had and just like change the title and some of the stuff that you want to say. And then YouTube just decided to remove everything. So let me just say hello to everyone again. Hi Alistair, hey Kifian. Hey Joe Boy, how we doing? Rudy, Chris, how you doing? Yeah, it feels like it's been a couple of weeks. The international break makes it feels a lot longer. Hey Alpha, again as well. Hi, long time no see for some of you guys. But that's my fault because, so before we get into the issues that you can see going at the bottom of the screen, yeah, for those that don't know, obviously it was the international break 2 weeks ago, so there was no stream. And then last week I tore my hamstring. It's at least it's a grade 2 at least. It's so weird seeing a big bruise on your body that hasn't been from like an impact. Like obviously no one touched me, and I've ripped parts of my hamstring, and it's even after a week it's killing me. Like I've broken the top of my foot before playing football, where I've like I kicked the bottom of an opponent's boot and it pushed my toe back and the knuckle sideways and it broke. And even that wasn't as uncomfortable as what this hamstring is, because it's just below my arse cheek and further down my leg. So if I'm sitting down like I am now, it's not comfortable. And the process of standing up and sitting down, or if I'm just walking, and it just goes, like the power in your hamstring just like drops you down. So that's why I missed last week. And then yesterday I had to work late. The students are doing tests, so I had to watch the tests and then take them in. So I only had like an hour, and I just came back and I just chilled with my friends for a bit, because I was thinking, let's try it on a Saturday. I've got more time on a Saturday than I do late Friday night. So I thought, let's see if people are around on a Saturday, especially when we're sort of having that last minute look at our teams and those last minute changes people might be making. And of course, news as well with Abraham definitely out. I mean, Lampard said he's definitely out. I don't think he's the kind of manager that's going to do like a Pep or an Eddie Howe, and then suddenly we're going to see Abraham sprinting out, starting the game. I don't think he's that kind of manager. And of course, Unai Emery getting sacked yesterday. So it feels like there's a lot to sort of think about if people are making those last minute moves. So let's start with Rudy. So you've got Abraham. Is it wise to switch to Batshuayi for a short while? No, because first of all, the first thing I'll say is what I always say to you guys and to everyone. Play it your own way. If you think Batshuayi is a great idea, I think Diop is out for West Ham. So West Ham haven't won in like 7 or 8 games. And Diop, the defender, is out. So it's not going to get any better. But the reason why I'm not going to say Batshuayi is because we don't know. When Frank Lampard was interviewed, when they said, oh, so is Batshuayi going to play? And then Frank was like, we'll see. And then they said, well, what about Giroud? It seems like Batshuayi is ahead of Giroud. We'll see, was the response to that. And then he just said, I'm not going to tell you anything on a Friday before the game. So would I say, is Batshuayi ahead? Probably. But you don't want to bring him in, because that is a committed transfer out when Abraham is fit. If we get to Monday and they come out and say, right, he's had a rest, he's feeling good now, I wanted to rest him anyway, he's been busy, Tammy Abraham, and he's back for the midweek game, you've already committed yourself to the next game week's transfer, probably to get Abraham in, and you've probably lost at least 0.2 million. So I'm benching him. I've already took a hit, a -4. I'm going to take a -8 hit for one game. I'm happy. I was thinking, Traore, I want to get him in here. Interesting game, I feel, Wolves against Sheffield United. But he's on the bench for me. This is why I've been warning for the last couple of weeks. You need, with the Christmas rotation, there's 3 game weeks coming up in a week, right? We've got this game week now, and then we've got games in the middle of the week, and then so this game week finishes on the Monday, and then the next game week starts on like the Wednesday, and then the game week's on the weekend and finishes next Tuesday. It's like 3 game weeks in the space of a week. And I've been saying for people, like, it's now time to build a full squad. Maybe not the goalkeeper, fine. So 14 out of 15 players, it's time to get a full squad, because, like, I'm even thinking if Abraham wasn't injured, he could have been rested. They've just played Valencia, and then they've got these 3 games in a week. It just feels like the likes of Mount, Pulisic, Abraham, and Tomori got rested as well against Valencia. So it just feels that because they're young, that they could get rotated. And of course, the likes of Manchester City assets, they're always rotation prone. So the teams that are in the Champions League are going to have played 4 games in like a week and a half. So I wouldn't just be surprised if we start to see rotation happening during this busy festive period. And that's why it's important to have these sort of filled out benches with players. This is why Jamie Vardy is so important. Jamie Vardy doesn't have any European games. So he's just basically playing once a week. But he's their talisman. There's no one to replace him. It's a little bit like Harry Kane at Spurs, right? Even though they're so busy, I just can't see him missing a game. It's like this talisman theory of choosing the most important player for a team that's undroppable. This is why I'm thinking for the next game week that I mentioned in my video and I've mentioned the last couple of weeks, Zaha coming in for Mount, because Zaha's just undroppable, whereas Mount has already missed the City game and he's already, I think he's going to play today. I think Mount is going to play for Chelsea, but I'm just feeling with the fixtures that they're going to have after this Burnley game, I think Zaha might be a good shout. Alistair, if you follow my Twitter, I did post on Twitter yesterday that I wasn't going to be streaming. So I do always try and let people know. Captain Joyce. Yeah, so Alistair, this is the second point. Like you can see it's sat on Salah. This morning it was sat on Vardy when I tweeted it out. But I did put an unlock picture next to my team just to sort of say like, hey, like, I don't know at the minute. Because I've got Mane, Salah, Vardy. So I'd really appreciate your suggestions as well for who to captain. So I'm 1.2 million rank. Now, if I go with Vardy on Mane, which most of the game's going to do, and they do well, then I'm going to maybe climb a little bit, depending on the rest of the team. Let's say I have a normal game week and they all score a goal, right? But they're 40-odd% owned. So Mane is now 40.6. Vardy's 44% owned. And of those 44%, you're going to say, what, 3/4 of that are going to be captaining them? And it just feels like, I think Salah's 23%, right? It's 23%. He has just as much chance as Mane today. But if Salah gets 2 goals and Mane gets 1 and Vardy gets 1, that is me getting a better captaincy pick than most again. But then, of course, the reverse option here is Salah blanks, Mane and Vardy don't, and my 1.2 becomes 1.7 million rank. It's these fine margins in the season, and I've only had 2 captaincy picks so far in all 13 game weeks where I've actually got something, double digit for my captain. So I just feel that now I need to start getting up. If I just have this one good week where Salah outscores Mane and Vardy by a couple of points, that sets me ahead of like 40% of the game from just those three very, very popular players. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, just keep Abraham. Wait. I mean, if it comes after this game week on Monday, all right, Abraham is out for 2 weeks, which is like 3 to 4 games, then yeah, all right, take him out. But I won't be taking like -4 hits and stuff. Hey, good morning, Alpha. 10:56. So Saturday times might be better than Friday night times because people aren't working. It's morning in the UK. It's early evening out here in Asia, and it's morning in Egypt. So, a good idea. So yeah, so Chris, if you talk about Abraham, like I just said, it's a keep. I don't think Abraham is a big problem. I actually think Abraham is a fantastic opportunity for us. Now, and I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. He was the most owned player. He still has 40% ownership, right? Now, if you didn't have Abraham, because of that ownership, you're always running the risk. But now you've got this massively, massively owned popular player of 40-odd% owned, not playing. That's giving you this opportunity to play your bench differential or transfer him out and, bring in a differential. So I'm playing Traore. What's Traore's ownership now? 4.8%. So I've gone from playing a 40% owned player, and so, almost half of the game, to playing a 4.8% owned player. And I don't have to worry about this big owned player coming back to haunt me because he's not playing. And he's on either everyone's bench or they've transferred him out for maybe another popular player. So I just feel as though actually an injury to someone like Abraham is a really good opportunity for people to either play someone on the bench or bring someone in who's a massive differential without the fear of, oh my God, Tammy Abraham's got 40% ownership. It was over 50% ownership, right? But obviously people have been selling him. And if he does something, half of the game are going to be scoring higher than I am. So I really don't think it's a big problem. Is Aurier a good replacement for Otamendi? For first, definitely it's time to get rid of Otamendi. I know Aurier is popular, and I've just read something written from Spurs fans about Aurier, and they're sort of saying avoid. Now the problem with this is Mourinho's come out and said, I want Aurier, I want him to attack, I want to set him free, and that's great. But the thing is, we all know Aurier is prone to doing something stupid. Either a red card or some weird own goal or some real stupid loss of possession in a dangerous area. And I just feel as though if he does that, Mourinho is just going to be like, right, out, done. I said I was going to set you free, and you've ruined it, so get on the bench. I don't think Mourinho's the kind of manager to just let Aurier keep doing these stupid things. And this is also the opinion of the Spurs. I think the website's called Right Hart Lane. Obviously a pun on White Hart Lane. And they were talking about, Mourinho's patience might not be there. He's saying these nice things about Aurier now, but wait till he starts costing you 1 or 2 goals. And Mourinho is famous for his stout defence and difficult to break down defences. And if you've got one of your 4 defenders just doing stupid things, then it's only a matter of time before you've got a young Kyle Walker-Peters and you've got is it Foyth, he's an Argentinian. There's people there, so for me, there's so many players. I feel like everyone's defences is the same. It's like TAA or Robertson or both. Lundstrom, Sionchu, Rico. A lot of people got Kelly. Like, there's a lot of value at the back. Aurier might be a good option, but haven't they got like United and City in the next 3 games? This is why I was in the video I put this week. I had a part about we need to calm down about Spurs assets. Yes, Bournemouth at home is quite a nice fixture. United away, Burnley at home's not easy. Wolves away, Chelsea. And then from week 19, Brighton, Norwich, Southampton is pretty good. I just feel the points that I made in the video were like, Jose Mourinho is famous for his strong defence. He doesn't play this free-flowing football, so if they get 1 or 2 goals up, they're probably just going to sit back. And, as an FPL manager, that's not particularly ideal. You made -4 Greenwood out, Jimenez in, and Sterling out, Maddison in. I possibly wouldn't have taken Sterling out. And this, I know, sounds ridiculous because you get rid of him eventually. But before the Newcastle game, with Aguero out, he statistically, even though there's not many stats to back this up, because Jesus doesn't play that much, but Sterling gets more points when Jesus plays. And if Jesus doesn't play, Guardiola's come out and said Sterling could be down the middle. Now, I don't really think Sterling gets a bunch more points playing in that central role, but he is a lot more dangerous. That's why we're annoyed with him this season, because he seems to be hugging that left wing. So I probably would have kept him for that Newcastle game. But Maddison is a great option at home to Everton, who are in absolute turmoil. And Greenwood, who's not even playing, and you've changed your formation and brought Jimenez in. And Jimenez is obviously, I think, a great option too. So Sterling and Greenwood versus Jimenez and Maddison, then I think it's the right decision. Do I have any plans to upgrade Mount to Pulisic? No. I have no interest in Pulisic whatsoever. I know that sounds mad because he's like one of the top 3 informed players in FPL right now. I just see rotation coming for Chelsea. The lads are too young. They're playing 4 games in like 2 weeks. I think Lampard, will take care. He's already rested Mount and Tomori. I wouldn't be surprised if actually we see Pulisic either on the bench today. I think we could have seen him on the bench today if Hudson-Odoi was 100% fit, but I believe he's carrying a knock. Go Vardy or Mane to be safe, but that's the issue, Kivian, right? If I go safe and I go Mane or I go Vardy, then, you know, at best, I'm going to climb like, what, 100k? Like, I've been going up like 100 to 200k the last few game weeks, and it's just like, this is what FPL is about, do you know what I mean? Like, it's, I could go, of course, I'm itching to just be like, right, Vardy, Mane, but there's no guarantees in this game. And we're talking about Mo Salah, we're talking about a player who's come top in the last 2 years, who, granted, he's not looking the best with this ankle problem, but, you know, if you could just outscore him in this game week, I don't think this is an impossible task for Salah to get a good score this game week. If I'm sat here going, oh, I need a differential captain, I'm going to stick it on, you know, Traore, then yeah, that's a big long reach, right? But I'm talking about sticking a captaincy on the player who started the season the most expensive, and he is still the joint most expensive, and it's not horrific, you know, it's not an outrageous pick. I'm not sticking it on like, you know, Pope captaincy. But I completely agree. Vardy and Mane are the both safe options. And if you've got both, it kind of feels like you can't kick yourself. If you give it to Vardy and he blanks, or you give it to Mane and he blanks, it's still the right decision because these two players are the most informed, the top players in FPL right now. So if Salah blanks and they don't, then I could suffer. But I'm just trying to, you know, there's no... What's the point in coming top 600k? I've got to go for it, and, you know, there's no point in me just saying, yeah, Green Arrow this week, guys. I've gone from 1.2 million overall to 1.1 million overall. Like, it's tiny. What's the point? I'm not going to rise. I'm trying to find that way to really claw up the rankings. And you know, I'm not going to get the top score of the week because everyone else has captained these players. I'm just trying to find ways to get up the rankings. Oh, you're talking about me? It actually still kills after a week. Still kills. Bench is quality. Who have you got on your bench? I'm back to the 3-5-2, but this was going to be the first time I was 3-4-3 for a long time. Trent to Doherty, Mount to Pulisic. Now, and again, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm not pulled in by Pulisic. I have no fear of him. Hey, Sagnick, how you doing, buddy? And Trent, he's just about to be at home to Brighton, and he's just had a rest. Unless you've got Robbo and you've got that double Liverpool defence, but no, I wouldn't sacrifice Trent just so I can make Mount turn into Pulisic. You have De Bruyne, but you don't think he'll be from. What about Son? I mentioned that if you're going to go Spurs, it's got to be probably Son. Or Dele Alli would be my pick. But again, KDB, I took him out, right, because I needed to fund the moves. And that is the most painful. I took Sterling out, and it was like, you know, a breath of fresh air. I had him since the start of the season, same as Mohamed Salah, and he's just... Even if Sterling gets something this game week, like 10 points, and all the people that's kept him all this time are like, see, soldier, Sterling's amazing, this is it now, like, he's worth it now, isn't he? No, he's not. He's not worth it because he's you know, he was 12 million and he's just scored 10 points, which means that now his average is like 3 points a game. But KDB, even when I was watching the game and watching the highlights after, he is just so important to Manchester City. Like, how it makes me wonder, how did they win the title without this guy? He is incredible. He makes them tick. He would be the only reason I've kept Salah over Kevin De Bruyne was I just really like the Mane Salah combo, and that's what I've said for the past 4 weeks. And the fixtures coming up, I just think Liverpool look insatiable right now, and it's the players around Kevin De Bruyne that made me want to take him out, not Kevin De Bruyne himself. Kelly is out. Kelly's not out. I thought Ward is out, unless this is new information. Yeah, Kelly's not out. Ward is out. That's why Kelly should be in. So that's why people have been saying 4.1 million is a great option. Is there any reason why Abraham's number 1 on my bench and not number 3? Chris, just in case Lampard was like pulling our legs, we've not got a lot of experience with Lampard at the minute, with it being his first year in the Premier League, and it might just be some ridiculous ploy and Tammy Abraham is magically healed and starts the game, and then he's my first sub. That's why. Yeah, I mentioned that one. Planning to take a punt on Pulisic captain. There's a lot of Pulisic love in the chat today. Thoughts? I guess if you want to do what I'm doing and try and rise through the ranks, but I don't know. I have a feeling that either this game or the midweek game or next week, I think Pulisic is going to have a rest period. I don't know what's wrong with Hudson-Odoi. Hamstring injury. If Hudson-Odoi and Barkley were fit, they'd get rotated. As it is, chances are he might not get dropped, dependent on this Hudson-Odoi injury. Because if he was fit, I think he would have been. Sterling, captain. You also have Vardy and Mane. It's the same, Kirill. It's the same thing that we talked about earlier, right? It's if you want to try and your argument for Sterling would be the exact same reason for my argument for Salah. You're still choosing a top quality player. He's not in the best form right now, but if he gets something and the others don't, you're going to shoot up the rankings because pretty much everyone is going to captain Mane and Vardy. Right? But it works both ways. And if they blank, if you choose Mane as captain, like so many people are going to do, and he blanks, loads of you are going to fail. But if you captain Sterling and he blanks, and then Mane and Vardy do something, you are going to plummet down the ranks unless the rest of your team have an absolute wonder week. And yeah, Newcastle are going to sort of sit back and City are going to have to work to break through them, which they've struggled to do. They couldn't break through Wolves. Newcastle aren't the best defensively, though, comparing them to Wolves, but they're going to defend. So, can they break them down is the key. You're going for Vardy as captain. So, if it's already giving you, 12, 6, 20 or something in the last 4 game weeks, then that's fine. You're worried about, Kirill, take that mentality out of your head. It's like roulette, right? Saying that if you're playing roulette and it goes, you're just betting on red and black, right? And it goes red, red, red. And then you're saying to yourself, it's got to be black. This time, it's got to be black. Because it's been red 3 times. It doesn't work that way. If anything, it's the opposite because he's in such good form and he's playing really well. Saying that you think Vardy's going to blank because he's doing so well and he's not blanking, it doesn't work like that. Jimenez in for Abraham. I think that's a popular move. A lot of people going for Danny Ings, which absolutely astounds me. Yes, he's cheaper. Yes, he saves money. Yes, he's got great fixtures. But aren't Southampton second from bottom? And Danny Ings gets injured 4 times a season. And that's just a transfer out waiting to happen. And Southampton are not this fantastic side that scores a bunch of goals. I'm going to regret it if it happens. But we're not going to see a Danny Ings hat-trick in the next 2 game weeks. Sterling and Jesus. Yeah, Jesus, I think. But again, I wouldn't go for Jesus because we don't know if he's going to play because Pep came out and he was like, oh, well, Sterling could play down the middle. Roger, yep, definitely keeping Abraham. 100%. He might go out next game week after this weekend if they come out and say, right, he's injured for a month, but Cantwell, Rico or Kelly to play this game week. Now, Rico's away at Spurs, not easy. Cantwell, we've got Arsenal, which, again, is an easy man to play. This sounds weird. I might go Kelly. Just because they're away to Burnley, I don't know. I just feel that's got 0-0 or 1-1 written all over it. But I think Cantwell's a better option because he's the most attacking player. You're choosing a number 10 over a sort of a right back cover. Joe, 1.2 million rank at the moment. I had a nightmare style, something like 2.4 million a couple of game weeks ago. Only just started to settle down. Rico, Connolly, then either Tamori, Lundy, and Sionchu, depending on transfers. And that's the thing I don't get as well, because so many people have gone Tamori. And I mentioned this earlier about like ranking. If you've got like Tamori, Mount, or Pulisic, and Abraham, quite a few people have got that, but Tamori for me feels like a waste of space because Chelsea still don't really get clean sheets. And if you want to have like Abraham and Mount and Pulisic, that's a big differential. It's something like, I think it's 0.15%. If you put Willian in there, it's 0.15% of teams, which is an incredible differential. And you at the sacrifice of Tamori in a Chelsea team, yeah, he got 9 points, I think, a couple of weeks ago. But Chelsea haven't really been keeping clean sheets, and I feel like, Pulisic, Abraham, Willian it's a 0.15%, if I remember correctly. 30 for 31k, nice. There's someone, the person top of the channel's mini league. I think he's in the top 500. I think the guy who's top of the YouTube mini league. He had Sterling for 13 game weeks. I had him for 12. I got him out a week before you did, Alpha, and that was done. That had to do it. Captain Vardy because he's playing on Sunday. Yeah, there's nothing worse. If you're captaining Sterling, right? If you're captaining Sterling and they're playing first game, right? And he blanks, the rest of the weekend is crap because you're just there thinking, yep, Sterling, he's got me 4 points, and now I have to sit here and I have to watch the Liverpool game, the Chelsea game, the Leicester game, and it makes the rest of the weekend just rubbish. Yeah, Chris, that's exactly right. Yeah, you could play. But the reason why I don't want to play Tammy Abraham is if he comes on as a sub, and then you'll just get like 1 point, right? So he's my first sub, because if he my team should play. My first 11 should play anyway. But yeah, you could start Abraham, but the issue is, if they're losing 1-0 and he's actually not too badly injured, they might throw him on for the last 10 minutes and then you're screwed. You get a point, correct. Yeah, that's what we're here. Just here to chat about ideas. Ings scores 40% Southampton goal. So yeah, that's coming back to the Talisman theory we were talking about earlier, Joe, where you choose a player from the teams that are either critical in terms of like there's no one to replace them, they're like basically undroppable, or they're the biggest ones in goal involvement. So Ings, yes, is 40% of Southampton goals, but let's just double check how many goals have Southampton scored so far this season. 13. So he's been involved in what? 4 goals? 5 goals? Well, no, hasn't he scored like 6? How many goals has Ings scored? I do think he's great value. He's 6.1 million now. How many goals? He scored 6, right? But I'm just thinking, yeah, he's scored half of their, or just under half of their goals, right? So yeah, he's important. But 13 goals, Aston Villa scored 6 more than that. There's got the same amount of goals as Norwich, who doubled their away goals with 2 last week. I just feel that it's not fantastic. When you can bring, players from teams all the way up here who are scoring 20 plus goals. The thing is, Kirill, like if you're 30k, I don't want to influence your decisions, because I've been playing this as logical as possible. I test stats, the lot, and it's not working out for me. Like there's the person who was top of my mini league, my friend's mini league, and he was like 250k or 300k, hadn't touched a City or Liverpool player all season, and he's killing it. But if you'd have said at the start of the season, right, no Liverpool, no City, you'd be crapping your pants because, you know, you just wouldn't dream. If we went at the start of the season when we were saying that Chelsea assets were rubbish, well, we're not going to touch any of them. No transfers, £7 million pound players, and now look at us. We're all like double or triple Chelsea. So I mean, you can put your team in if you just like type it out, or just put the like quick way to say what the team is. But I don't want to be like turning your team into my team and I'm 1.2 million. Took a hit for Tammy to Laka. I guess that's not too bad. But do we know anything? Now, Julian, if I ask you, do you know anything about Freddie Ljungberg's tactics? Like, any idea? Is he going to play two up top? Is he going to play Lacazette? Like, for me, we knew Mourinho were in and people jumped on Spurs. They want that new manager feeling. But first, Arsenal don't have a new manager yet. They're just using the coach, who's Freddie Ljungberg. We don't know anything about his tactics. We don't know anything about the first 11. Arsenal have not been in good form, hence Unai Emery getting the sack. I understand that you didn't want to just have Tammy not playing, but this is a point I made on Twitter yesterday. So Lacazette now must score a goal just to make that transfer worth it. And that's just one goal. So -4. If you play someone on your bench for 2 points, that's 6. That means Lacazette must score a goal just to make it so it's not useless. Because someone from your bench comes on and gets 2 points. And for me, so taking a hit for that, that's why I didn't take a hit. Because unless that's going to be a long term and you're like, yep, Lacazette, he's the man, I'm keeping him for the next 10 game weeks, then that's fine. Then you will just say, okay, I'll spread the hit out over a few weeks. But if this is just like a 1 or 2 game week punt, then, you know, you basically, Lacazette's got to score a brace. And that'll look great, but then you'll think, oh, well, hold on, I need to take 4 points just from Lacazette because that's who, you know, I took the hit for. Is Cantwell 100% going to play this week, or is he injured? I haven't heard. Oh, he came off with a slight strain, so he does have a marker. It is a worry. I would check for some late news to decide if you're going to go for Cantwell. For me, though, if there's any kind of I don't know, is he going to play? I think Farker would have liked to play the same team that just beat Everton, but with Hernandez back, he did play with Cantwell. So was it Leitner who got dropped? Yeah, Leitner's not been in for a couple of games. I just worry when I see those yellow flags. And he did get subbed off just towards the end of the game, right, against Everton. So, Ings or Deulofeu, ideally none of them, mate. But if I had to choose gun to my head, then I'd choose Danny Ings, despite him being made of paper. When will you decide to change 10-point players if your rank doesn't improve? That's a really good question, Chris. That's what I'm always trying to do. I always feel that kind of have, say, 8 players, quote-unquote, template, just to protect rank. So I'm not even excited about the likes of Tammy Abraham in my side. It's just the fact that they help protect rank. So it's the rest of my team where I want differentials. You know, I don't think it's that bad. So Söyüncü's only 7. You think everyone owns Söyüncü, right? But 17.5% own him. A lot of people bench him, so that's actually not too bad. Pope is at 15%, and obviously most people play him. I don't think that's not too bad a differential. TAA 30%. It's not the best, but again, Lundstrom I think now is the most owned in the game. Again, he protects rank, but also he's the king of FPL this year. Mane, Vardy, great players, but also they protect your rank. Mount is going down, that's why he's sort of on my chopping block perhaps, but still 30% is a good rank protector. Jimenez, 20% now. God, he's shot up. He was far less owned when I brought him in for like 7.1 million. and then Traore 4.8. So I don't think it's that bad. It's finding a balance, but at the end of the day, don't worry too much about the word template or differential or, you know, whatever other terminology people are going to make up. The fact of the matter is, you're here to try and get the most points in a game week. And if people say your team is template, look at me with my 2% differentials, and you score 80 points and they score 20 points, then who's winning, right? So I just go for the players that I try to put team ownership completely to the back of my mind, unless it's someone ridiculously highly owned, because then you could be in trouble. So, for example, Tammy Abraham. He's not that expensive, but when it was 50% of the game owning him, it was worrying to see because he was also in good form. That's why I brought him in, weeks and weeks ago. So I won't worry about things like template and stuff like that. I just would stick with the players that you believe in. And I believe in this team. Like I said, it's only in this starting 11 this game week I feel happy. Let's just realise only one of my players is away from home this week, which isn't a huge thing. I just think it's strange that so many of my players are at home this week. That's a good way of doing it, Kirill. Keeping your eye on your opponents. Like, when I looked at some of the top teams in the whole world in FPL right now, and I was thinking, these teams look so similar to everyone else's. That's because they race to the front and then they can hold their position with these high ownership players. That's why I need these. They can go and captain Mane and Vardy this game week and be happy because everyone else is doing it. I need to take these risks like a Salah captaincy. If I'm sat here next week, all right, guys, I'm ranked 1.4 million. So what? But if I'm sat here next week and I'm ranked 500k because of Salah, then I've had an amazing week. I feel going up 100,000 places with low risk is nothing compared to going up a possible 600,000 places because I took a slightly higher risk going for Mo Salah. When Adair was out for Camo. Yeah, but so when Adair was drop kicking, and I would think that he might be back. But Cantwell had a good game week, so. But if he's got a knock and he's young, he protects him, then he doesn't play. Friday, you got Ings in for Tammy for a -4. Okay, so I'll read the rest of it. This frees up cash that allows you to use next week Pulisic for Cantwell. You can also upgrade Rice to Stevens and Conley to Musa. So for this situation, I agree with this because, yes, you've taken a -4 hit, so you need Ings to at least score a goal to make it worth it. But you've done that because that will allow future transfers next game week. So that kind of transfer, that's one that I've done before. When I took Sterling out, I had a week where I had like 3 million in the bank. Because I'd already taken a hit and I didn't want to take a -8. And I was just like, next week I'll be able to upgrade, this player, and the week after I'll upgrade this player. So, like I said, the only problem with that though, Afra, is Ings is made of paper, could be injured. Southampton are a particularly fantastic team this season. Tammy could be back next game week, and 40% of the game own him, and you could be punished. But we'll see. What about Gineppo? Fahad, a lot of people talking about Gineppo, the Southampton player, right? He didn't start. He came on. He had about 5 chances against Arsenal and missed them all. So that's what I think about Gineppo. Not for me. I understand that he looks very exciting. People are like, yeah, jump on him. He's a really great differential. Look at Southampton's fixtures. Didn't he play 15 minutes? 14 minutes. I do apologise. He came on and then he missed all those chances, and then Arsenal went and scored. So he came on and then they did nothing but concede. So for me, again, it's that situation where there are so many players out there. He's 5.2 million. I think Traore is 5.2 million. So why would you not just go for Traore, who is now playing basically right wing? He's not playing right back anymore. He is right wing in a 3-4-3. Ings is your only differential. So then I understand them why you got him, but I think is he 5% ownership? It's going to keep going up. A lot of people are going on to Danny Ings. He's 6.1% ownership now, which is still fine. He still does well. He's got 2 goals in 2 weeks against an Everton side who look ridiculously bad and an Arsenal side that are a joke defensively. But saying that is against 2 very poor teams in Watford and Norwich at home. But home means nothing to Southampton. Usually they're not as good as home. They got thumped 9-0 at home. You've got exactly the same points as me. So what am I planning to do differently? Salah captain this week. That's a start. And then after that, I'll start to go off some of the players like Mount. I'm happy so many people sold Salah. I know I've lost like 0.3 million or whatever he's gone down. But I've got a potential highest ceiling player in FPL, who's the FPL champion of the last 2 years. That only like 23% of the game own now. And he's such a good player. And he's on penalties. Like, what more do I need? So I think just captaincy pick. That's the reason why I'm sort of in this mess. Like I said, I've only had 2 good captaincy picks all season. And that was me just choosing Salah and Sterling. So I'm back to Salah time now. So I'll be glad when he blanks, Mane, Vardy bangs, and I'm sat here next week a million worse off in rank. Yeah, and that's it, Chris. You're right. About breaking template, like, around 200k is wonderful. It's been such a topsy-turvy season. Feels like all FPL rulebooks have gone out the window. So many sort of top managers, some top managers out there for the last 10 years or so are struggling this season because it's just so difficult that you don't need to break template now. It's game week 14. Keep it safe, maybe wait till after Christmas or the second wild card, then you can sort of break away. But if you're in the top 500k or top million now, it's still tight, still close. You think Kirill likes Salah's captaincy? Good. I need that justification because I've changed it 3 times between Mane. Mane, Salah and Vardy have all worn the captain's armband in the last 24 hours. Chris, when did I play my triple captaincy? Game week 1, buddy. Game week 1. I wanted a good start, and I wanted Salah at home to Norwich. So actually, my people will always tell you, triple captain in a double game week. No, triple captain when you think that players are going to do well and probably not get rotated out. Salah got a goal and an assist, right, in that very first game. Goal assist. So if you triple captain someone, they must get a goal and an assist in those 2 games. So I was happy with my triple captaincy. The only problem is he was playing on my team right next to Raheem Sterling, who destroyed West Ham United. So that hurt a little bit. But considering for example, last year I triple captained Sane at Man City, and I don't get a lot of luck, I actually think that it turned out pretty well. Now, Alpha, I made a point about Rashford, and I actually suggested him, I believe, because he's gone massively under the radar. Now, this is from the video. This is from my YouTube video for this game week. My avoid picks and take a risk on. Let me just put this down here. So these were my suggestions, and Rashford is my player to pick. Now, it is more of a 1 week punt. You can see I put Vardy and Mane in there because I can't not suggest it. But Rashford is massively under the radar. He's 4th. He's key. He is a talisman for Manchester United. He's basically undroppable. His form, you can see 9-9-2-5-11. And I know United are unpredictable, but if you're going off Abraham and you wanted that alternative punt, the only issue is, they've got Spurs and City after that. But yeah, I think for 1 game week, I don't think that's a crazy thing to go for, Rashford. You got Jimenez and Vardy. But, I mean, if you're that close to Rashford, you can't go up to Jesus. Again, Jesus is too much of a risk for me. You've got Jimenez, you've got Vardy. Man, if you're going to sell Abraham, I'd have just kept him. I'd have just kept Abraham. Up your bench a little bit, maybe. AFL point win. Ings versus Norwich looks good. Does it? We talked quite a lot about Danny Ings. I keep saying he's made of paper, he's made of glass, he'll probably get injured. Yeah, he's done well, scoring 6 goals, which is just under half of Southampton's total goal tally. But Southampton are second bottom. Southampton are not a good side. Like, if you're saying, oh, let's go for Ings, let's go Pookie then. Pookie against Southampton's defence. Right? Why not? Why are we leaning towards Danny Ings over the likes of Pookie? Just because Danny Ings has got 6 goals? Hasn't Pookie got more? How many goals has Pookie got? Pookie's got 6 with 3 assists. Norwich have scored more goals than Southampton, right? I think a lot of people are dropping down to Ings and I really don't see it. He's got 2 goals in 2 game weeks, which is great. I just feel as though Southampton are not a great side. And the likes of Norwich and Watford are going to be like, well, we've got to get our season started now, lads. It's a 6-pointer, bottom of the table. We need to get out of this. If you don't have them, you go Ayew. I think Ayew's a good shout as a third option to rotate with your 5th midfielder. That's an option that I'd thought about going for as well. But I do think Rashford, at least for this game week, is a really, really good shout. If you're not sticking on if you can't obviously go to the likes of Aubameyang, but 8.7, is there anyone else? I think Firmino. If you've an idea that I had possibly going in the future is if Salah blanks and I get really sad about captaining this week and he blows it for me, I would take him out and I might put Bobby Firmino in again, and then I can go Heung-min Son, or Kevin De Bruyne. Bring Kevin De Bruyne back. So I'd take out Salah and I'd get that Liverpool coverage and go Bobby Firmino. That's something that I'd be thinking of. And then I'm taking out, I'm getting in a player that's 10% owned and 13% owned, who are 2 highly quality players. Antonio Vardy is your captain. Yep, I think that's a fantastic captaincy choice. Talked a lot about a lot of these players, so I won't waste a lot of people's time who already been around. Pope, TA, Seonshi, Tomori, Lundstrom, Mane, Madison, Sterling, Son, Vardy, Jimenez. I like that. Henderson over Pope. Yeah, it makes sense. Palace have scored like the fewest goals. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a. So how come you can afford that? You've got Mane, Sterling, Son, Vardy. I'm just thinking, how many premiums have you got compared to me? But I can't afford that team. I guess then Donker and Musa are cheaper. Rico's like 4.2 or whatever. Yeah, but given that, I think that's the way to go going into Christmas. Having 15 playing players. Sal's a great player, plus pens, you got it. I hope so, Krill. I really need it this game week. I want to get in the top million this game week. Yeah, a lot of people, I think, people keep saying as well, right? If you've got Mane, stick with Mane. If you've got Salah, stick with Salah. I understand that argument. But again, if you're trying to climb rank and they're the same price now, you got a 40% owned player and a 23% owned player, you could just switch back. You could just switch. Hold Abraham is quality. Yeah, he is. And also, Chelsea's still got decent fixtures for a while, right? So, yeah, he misses West Ham. He could face, then, Villa, Everton, Bournemouth. They are 3 defences you want to have any striker playing against, right? So, certainly you'd want someone like Tammy Abraham, who's been in good form this season. Rashford, Vardy, Firmino, Mane, TA, Lund, all this week. Prowse is your differential. Yeah, Prowse, the great thing about Prowse, right, is he's always got that ability to smash in a 30-yard free kick. Plus, in your 11 players, you've got to have one or two of them who are enablers, right? Cheap players who might tick over. You want one return in 7 games from Ward-Prowse to sort of make him worth his price, and he'll get you that. But I like that front line, and then you've got Mane in the middle, so that means you don't have Sterling or a lot of us are going without Man City assets, and I kind of completely agree with that. Player playing the game for over 5 years knew badly because they will not change the way they play. I kind of agree with that, Antonio. I know what you're saying. I've played this game. This is like my 10th year. But this is like the first year I've really done it sort of... Or the second year I've kind of tried to do it properly. Last year it was just more like I was taking ridiculous risks and not thinking things through all the time. But I still don't think it's about adapting. I just think this year's been crazy. Like, if we'd have said that Sheffield United would be like, what, top 8, I think, in the Premier League? You'd have been like, no. If you'd have said Pookie would have been the top FPL player in the first 5 game weeks, people would have said no. Like, you can't plan for stuff like this. This is football. Like, what you can plan for is Liverpool and Man City probably being the best 2 teams, and that's why a lot of us have those players. And I think a lot of it is coming down to captaincy choices. That's been I've lost, God, over like 100 points because of captaincy picks. And that was just me choosing Salah instead of Sterling. And I was choosing a player who was at home, who had the easier opponent, and just the other one outscored it. I mean, same thing with Norwich against City. With all the injuries Norwich had, we all thought City were going to walk down to Norwich and thump them 10-0, but they lost. So I think it's difficult to write a rule book in football, so then it's almost impossible to write it for FPL. Your rank is 75k. That's really good, that, Patrick. I think anything inside the top 500k is pretty nice so far this season with how crazy it's been. England scored against Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea this season. So does it matter if Southampton isn't a good side? Yeah, because teams like Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal will play against Southampton, Afarat, and play all that attack and expect to win. So them getting hit on the break with the Danny Ings goal is normal. This is an example that Pookie. Pookie scored against Manchester City. Pookie scored against Liverpool. Pookie scored against Liverpool in a 4-1 defeat, and Liverpool were controlling the possession, and it was a nothing goal. So actually, when Southampton comes across a team at a similar level, that is actually worse for Danny Ings, because these teams are not going to come out like Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea and Arsenal dominating the game, thinking they're going to walk it, superior players. You know, Norwich and Watford are going to come out thinking, we need to beat these guys, it's going to be a close affair, keep your eye on Danny Ings, and so on. So I just feel that actually, after that actually makes me feel more comfortable, because a lower team scoring against higher opponents is not usually a good thing, because that means that they don't score against lower opponents. Straight with Sterling, go for KDB. I think that's a completely fair choice. But just wait and see after this Newcastle game, maybe, just because we don't know who's going to play at number 9. I say number 9, I mean down the middle, where Aguero would usually play. Baldock, Dendoncker and Kelly on the bench. Which to put as first sub? I wouldn't go Dendoncker, because he's a midfielder currently playing as a defender for Wolves. Kelly's going to Burnley. Wood, Barnes and even Rodriguez are doing pretty well right now. I can imagine it being like a 1-0 Burnley win, which would be frustrating because it's such a low-scoring game. So I might go Baldock. I know they're travelling to Wolves against an informed like Jimenez, but Sheffield United haven't lost away this season so far. But that's tough. For me, it's between Kelly and Baldock, because then Donker is a midfielder playing in defence. Team value is 105. Oh. So you've been playing the value game. Seems to be working out. Triple Leicester, Vardy, Madison, Sionchu. Yeah, Alpha, I was surprised at myself when I realised I had triple Leicester. I don't usually triple up on a team. It's putting your eggs in one basket, isn't it? If Abraham's back next week, you've got a benching headache. Lundstrom, Tomori, Again, I just feel like I've got Willems and he's like 4.5, right? So that means I'll rotate him usually with Sernchu. And I'll probably just play Lundstrom and Rico just sits on my bench. But Tomori, like, I'd just be getting off him. I just feel like for how much you can sell him for now, compared to how many clean sheets he's had, I just feel as though, like, he's taking up a Chelsea space. So he's 4.9 million. He's got 37 points. He's not even hauling. Like, yeah, he got 9 at home. He got 9 points against Crystal Palace. That's a good job. 1, 9, 2, 1, 5, 2, 7, 0, 9, 1. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like... For me, if I could get like 4.7 out of him to sell and drop him down to like a 4.1 Kelly and upgrade somewhere else, or just... Because you're not going to play him, you know, take away that benching headache. Sell Tomori, get the extra money, and get an additional Chelsea attacker. So then you're looking at Pulisic and Mount and Abraham for that differential. I don't know why. I just feel like Tomori's like, there's so many players, so many defenders out there that are doing really well. I just feel like he's sort of taking up a really good space that you could fit. Like Willian, I suggested Willian as well. Like, he's the least rotated out player that they've got in that Chelsea front line. He's pretty consistent, still got the fixtures. That'd just be my suggestion anyway. -4 to take Mount out? No. I mean, I'm playing him. I don't know how I feel like if you're gonna be taking him out and I'm sat here with him in my starting 11. Why would you take him out? Is this because he got dropped against City because they needed, was it Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho, because they knew they were going to be under pressure. Good luck, Antonio, mate. Hopefully we're all going to do something interesting this week. So they needed to drop Mount because they wanted that midfield three to soak up that pressure. He got dropped against Valencia, but so did Tomori. And I think that just means he's fresh to play 3 games in a week. I don't feel like Mount has lost his place. I could be wrong, but with Abraham being injured as well, I just feel like Mount hasn't even been doing that bad, especially when I'm watching highlights afterwards and recapping the game. I'm thinking, you know, he's hit the bar, he's hit the post, he's still shooting. I just wouldn't be taking him out. Unless you're like, okay, I'm going Mount to Son because I can afford it. Then all right, I understand it. But if you're going Mount to someone around that price, I don't see the point of it. I'm playing him anyway. Am I a fan of Robbo or TAA in real life? Yeah, I think they're fantastic players. In real life, completely. TAA, I don't actually rate him that highly as a defender. But when you play at fullback or wingback, you don't need to be that amazing in defence. Like, your centre-backs need to be covering that up. This is a new style of football, right? But I think Robbo is a fantastic player. And TAA, his passing, he could play like a De Bruyne role. Like, some of the passes. Granted, though, because he's young and he's still learning, some of those passes, like he did one crossfield blind pass to give away the ball, and they got off really lucky, Liverpool. But I mean, some of the passes that he produces is just absolutely incredible. He paid 4.6. Is this for Tomori? Good fixtures and Chelsea are okay at the back. Yeah, downgrade for the cat. I just feel you've got a selection headache. So, I've got Sernchu, right? But Sernchu's got 6, 14, 8, 6 in the last few game weeks. And they've got Everton, Watford, Villa, Norwich. You don't want to play Sernchu against Everton, Watford, Villa, and Norwich. I do. I think that's, you know, their clean sheet games that he could get. TAA, I don't even need to... Yeah, good fixtures. He's Liverpool. He's a fantastic player. Lundstrom could be my rotate. But again, Wolves, Newcastle, Norwich, Villa, Brighton, Watford. I don't want to play Lundstrom in these games. 100% yes, I do. So then I'm playing 3 at the back. So basically, Williams is sat on my bench until game week 18, Palace at home, because he'll swap with TAA, who's not playing. So I could actually do the same. His price is 4.6. I got him for 4.4 or 4.5. So I could change him to Kelly, but like I said, I want players that are playing sort of 90-minute matches. Kelly will lose his place again when Ward comes back from injury. And then Rico's the same. I got him for cheap, like 4.1 or something like that. And he'll just sit on my bench until he has to play. So I just feel like Tomori, why would I sit here going, oh, Tomori or Lundstrom or Soyuncu or Willems or Rico and I'm just thinking, just, have your three, look at the fixtures and the form, and then just be like, right, these guys. Because Tomori, if I had Tomori in my team right now, he'd be sat on my bench. And he'd be sat, and then I'd be like, oh, should I go Tomori or Lundstrom? Lundstrom is a central attacking midfielder, basically. So maybe give yourself, get rid of that headache and save the cash. Mount might have lost his place on the team. But I don't know if he has because of Pulisic. I don't think it's anything to do with Pulisic. It's not the same position. He didn't lose his position to Pulisic, right? Because they were playing together. I mean, he's only missed one game. He's played 90 minutes all season. He got dropped for City because Kovacic, Jorginho and Kante. The issue, I think, is with Kante getting back from injury and they didn't have those trio of very good centre midfielders to soak up the pressure. But they're against West Ham. They're going to play 3 defensive players against West Ham. I'd be pretty surprised. You like the aggressive Robbo? Yeah, well, he's Scottish, isn't he? He's going to have that aggression in him. And he's a good leader as well. I think Liverpool, another good thing about Liverpool is they're a team they've got quite a few leaders in there, quite a few guys who can keep their head cool. Like, even if they're on the bench, the likes of like James Milner and Captain Henderson, right? I think they've got good players. I must be one of the only like non-Liverpool fans that actually wouldn't mind to see Liverpool winning the league. 9 double ditch and captain hit 4 blanks. I'm jealous, Patrick. Yeah, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to use that tool. You can use a tool that says, it tells you how many, if you'd have chosen the right captain every week, you would actually have this many points, because it just made me die inside. Seems a bit of a waste of a transfer at the moment. Oh yeah, I'm not saying like burn 4 for it, or if you've got other transfers you want to make, but let's say 0.5 million. That's a difference. It's a lot of money, and it gets rid of that selection headache, I guess. Planning for game week 18. Yeah, I that's something I've been saying for the last 2 games as well. Keep that game week 18 in mind. What I'll probably do is Mane, TA will go to the bench, and I can sell Salah because his price won't go up, basically, unless he goes on some sick run until game week 18 where he's banging a hat-trick every week and then his price goes up to 12.6 or whatever, because I'll sell him and then just buy him back the week after for the same price. That's my plan for game week 18, but I'll have to save up 2 free transfers so I'm not burning my entire week's supply just to get him back. Or Salah goes out, and I had thought about bringing KDB or Sterling back in, because that's when Manchester City's fixtures improve, and then that would give me that City coverage as well. I just love that. I said it, I think it was 4 weeks ago. I was like, right, I want Mane and Salah. I had Firmino. When did I have Firmino? Oh, I just saw him there. Game week 7. I brought in Firmino, and it was around game week 7. I was like, right, in the future, I want Mane and Salah. I've been scared of Mane since game week 2. So, finally happy to have those 2. Thoughts on Zaha? Alpha, I mentioned this before. He is my possible transfer in for Mount. Again, I mentioned him a few weeks ago on my YouTube video on the channel, and I just said that I'll swap him out for Mount for Zaha. I actually did suggest him this game week. If I put the picture on here, you can see here's my differential pick of the week as well, because I just literally said I'm thinking about bringing him in. I just might not bring him in this week because we're away to Burnley, which isn't ideal. But keep your eye on him. He scored last week against Liverpool. See how he does this game week. And then after this game week, they have an incredible run of fixtures. So maybe look at Palace. I mean, Palace are like, in the calendar year, since January, if you did the Premier League table, aren't Palace like 4th? Like I put this in a video a couple of weeks ago where Palace are like the 4th best team in the Premier League if the league started in January. And it's November now. It's been 11 months. This isn't some sort of, 10-game stat where we're like, oh yeah, well, Palace are 4th after 10 games. It's something like 40 games and Palace would actually be in like the top 5. I think the 5th actually. But that's still very high. Everyone is injured. Then don't swap him. Bring on a bench player. You must have someone on your bench who's going to play this week. There's no way, I'm not being mean, but I mean, if you're sat there with like 3.9 million players that never play, then yeah, you're going to have to change him out. But I mean, if you've got a playable guy on your bench, then just play a sub. Do I think Zaha's going to return? To be honest, I hope so because that's my plan. But the problem with Zaha, I brought him in last year when he had good fixtures and I thought he had good form, and he just trolled everyone. He, like Callum Wilson, he's known as a bit of an FPL troll, a bit of a trap, right? So that's again why I'm sort of personally not bringing him. Burnley away isn't an easy game. It's tough. No one likes to go to Turf Moor. But if he scores this game week, that's 2 games in a bounce going into a nice fixture run. He wants to put himself in the shop window for January to get out of Palace. And he is quality. And he is, like I said, towards the start of the stream, I was saying about Talisman theory. He is key to Crystal Palace. He's so important to their team that he's just not going to get dropped. So I already said that he's probably coming in for Mount. Unless Mount plays 90 minutes and bangs a hat-trick, and Zaha gets injured or gets a red card or just plays garbage and it's the worst thing you've ever seen, then my transfer penciled in already is Zaha in for Mount. But got to wait on Tammy Abraham on Monday morning. Best pick, yeah, and that's what I was saying. So you got Palace with an incredible 8-game run. Zaha's not going to get dropped. He's not going to get rotated out. He's the talisman of the club. Best fixtures, decent team. I think they're going to do it. At least we don't have Wilson anymore. We won't talk about that, Chris. We'll leave that. Oh yeah, if you could leave a like and maybe subscribe, that'd be great as well. Thank you. I always forget to mention that because we just talk. Yeah, no worries, Dexter. Van Arnold is a great shout. He's on my fan team FPL. He was my one I brought in. When should you use a free hit and bench boosts? Without sounding too typical, double game weeks. That's what I triple captain. I think can be played at any time. Go for a player in form who's against the team there for the taking. But for me, free hit. Some people might use it for the Liverpool game week, where they blank in game week 18. I wouldn't. I'd use it for a double game week where, your players aren't having a double game week and others are. Or you've got like an injury problem, keep it in your pocket just in case. But bench boost as well, double game week, because you've got hopefully 15 players playing 2 games. So that's when I would use it. You'll switch Mount to Pulisic, no way I'll do it. For Zaha. And I don't know why I feel it's sideways, because I know Pulisic is in such good form, and I know he's doing really well, but I just feel like he's going to get rotated out. Thoughts on Ward-Prowse? Good enabler. He's a person you start in 11. Just like I'm looking at Traore now. He's a good player, but if he sits here with 2 points at the end of this game week, I'm not going to lose my rag about it because he's a 5.2 million player. He is a 5.2 million player because he allows me to have more expensive players around him. So Ward-Prowse is pretty much the same, right? I mean, how much is Ward-Prowse? 5.8. So he's getting up there a little bit. I mean, likes of McGinn, 5.9, but they've got a horrible run of fixtures coming up. You get to that area, McGinn, McNeil. Yeah, I think it's fine. Traore is where I'm going for. Barnes, Leicester, plays 70 plus minutes, 1.3% ownership. Those good fixtures. Could be Barnes over, unless you're already tripled up, obviously, on Leicester. You've got a feeling he might leave in January. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to leave in the summer, right? So he needs to play well. He's done nothing so far this season. He's got his first goal against Liverpool. You just know he's going to turn it on and he's going to show his stuff and be like, yeah, January, come on, big teams, come and get me. And the great thing is, if he does go to another Premier League team, that's fantastic, because then you've got, Zaha playing for maybe Arsenal for 6.6 million. So could be quids in. But then obviously every man and his dog will be bringing Zaha in. But you got there first, and you'll always have that pride. You'll always have that special moment. Kante is much more offensive. Yeah, again, I think you might say, oh, he's taking up a valuable Chelsea slot. But I mean, is it 5 million? It's 5 million. He's only played 467 minutes, and he's got... Alright, well, ignore the start of the season. He got injured, so 8, 7, 3, 8. It's not too bad for Kante. Hey, Vince, good morning. Thoughts about Fleck as a fifth midfielder? Yeah, Sheffield United have fantastic fixtures coming up. Where is it? There we go. Wolves, not this game, we're not talking about that, but Newcastle, Norwich, Villa, Brighton, Watford. That's tasty to me. That is tasty. You can see he plays 90 minutes since game week 5. Just slightly ahead of Norwood. But when we look at Sheffield United, we're really looking at the defenders, aren't we? But he is that enabler that we've just been talking about. That fifth midfielder who you could rotate with your third striker. If you want to, so for example, if that was Jordan Ayew or even Mousset. But you wouldn't have the same player from the same team rotating, because that wouldn't really make sense. But let's just say there's like Jordan Ayew or Danny Ings, and you could be like, okay, I'm going to swap Fleck with that. So I think he's a great enabler. Moutinho at Wolves. Again, can't you get Traore for that price? I know he scored a really nice free kick, but wasn't that his first goal in like an entire year? Yeah, 5.3. I'd just go Traore. Because if we look at Traore's numbers, right, ignore that City 16. Because it's only in the last couple of weeks, isn't it, that he's properly playing right wing and not right wing back? Because isn't that why Doherty lost his place at first? Because Traore was playing right wing back. Who to captain or Mario? Don't. I've just settled on Salah being my captain. Don't come and change my mind now. Vardy, Jimenez or Rashford? Vardy. But again, remember, we talked about this earlier. Vardy, safe, one of the most informed players right now, at home to a very, very poor Everton side. But if you want to take a risk, you want to go up the rankings, then I think Rashford or Jimenez are good choices as well. I don't know. I've got Jimenez. But would I captain him? No. Sheffield United haven't lost away from home yet. And they're so good defensively that it'd just be like Wolves banging their head against Sheffield United all game and be worrying about them getting them on the counter-attack. Whereas Vardy at home, I just feel so much more comfortable. If I had on one screen the Leicester game and one screen the Wolves game, I'll be just looking at Leicester. If Vardy wasn't my captain, I'd just be like, oh my god, Vardy's definitely going to score. But if I'm looking at the Wolves game, I won't be like, oh, Jimenez is definitely going to score. So that would be my argument for that. You'd just be going for Jimenez because you want that rank climbing attempt. I think Rashford might be a better option than Jimenez there. Alpha, you could stick the captaincy on Vardy for... You've had him... So this is your third week. You could do it for another 3 weeks. Or 4 weeks. 1, 2, 3... you could do it comfortably for another 4 weeks. If you're not captaining him sort of against Watford and against Norwich at home, excuse me, then, I think that's strange. Unless I've missed something and someone's got an easier game than that. Alright, anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to get ready, having a bit of games night and watch the football. Fortunately, England's an hour ahead now. It used to be a 10 o'clock kickoff and a 12 o'clock kickoff, but now it's an hour later, 11 o'clock are those 3 o'clock games in England for me, so it's a nightmare. But thanks for coming in, guys. I hope you've had some ideas and thought about some things you want to do with your teams. I'm kind of happy in a way Abraham's missing out. It gives us a chance to try something else instead of just sticking him in the side because 40% of the game have got him. So hopefully we're all going to have a good game week, and I'm wishing you all well. Let's all get those green arrows, and hopefully this time, sort of next weekish, I'm going to be inside the top million, or I'm going to be sat here going, oh my god, why did you guys let me captain Mo Salah when I've got Mane and Vardy in my side? Why would you do this to me? The second is likely going to be the true one. Thanks, Vince. Yeah, no one else said bless you. I just sneezed, guys. Come on. All right, take it easy, guys. Hopefully we're going to watch it. Good luck, everyone. And I'll see you on the other side. And there might not be a video next week, and I might just do a stream instead, because I don't have time because of work. I don't have time to make a video for game week 14 review, game week 15, and then game week 15 comes in the middle of the week, and I've got to make another video to look back at game week 15 looking at 16, and then 16 comes up. I don't know, I might just do a midweek stream instead to talk about everything, because I just don't have the time. I work full time and I can't basically do it, but we'll see. So thanks again, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the football. Try not to get too upset about Mo Salah messing everything up. All right, take it easy, guys. Have a good one.